Fiorella Callocchia is president of consulting firm HR Impact, which specializes in developing practical and innovative workplace solutions and is based in Mississauga, Ontario. She spoke with us about communication skills for payroll professionals. Why are communication skills essential for payroll professionals?
Payroll's in the service delivery business as well, and they provide, services to employees, to management. So, it's very, very important that they're able to articulate and communicate clearly, whether it's emails, whether it's, through face-to-face interaction or telephone, because they need to communicate information, plus they need to get information that's critical so that they can solve the problems.
What specific skills are the most important for payroll?
I think for payroll, active listening skills are critical. You really do need to, assess the issue in front of you and to really understand the problem before you can start, analyzing it or diagnosing it and then coming up with solutions. So I think listening to who you're talking to, also demonstrating empathy. Typically employees are not happy about something. That's why they call payroll. And so it's rare that we get calls, where people say, I love, my manager and I think I'm terribly overpaid. I want to give some back. So they have a concern, they have a question, or they have a conflict. So showing empathy and really understanding what people are, getting at is critical. Also, I think summarizing, before, you let the person leave your office, do a summary and saying, okay, so what you're telling me is blank, blank, blank. So, you need to really define the problem and then be clear on whether or not you can help, and if so, in what way. And then if you are going to do something, what is the delivery time, right? Are you going to be able to get back to them that same day? Because you want to be service-oriented and you want to be responsive. So I think that's all pretty critical, and to be clear, and to also, adjust your communication style to the audience that you're dealing with. So if you're dealing with senior management, use more business terms. If you're dealing with employees, you would adjust, accordingly. So ensuring that, you're being appropriate and that you're being situational about the way that you communicate with people.
What can the payroll professional do to hone these skills?
So first of all, some training, right? They can go external for courses like business writing courses. They can also do Toastmaster, right, which would help their spontaneous oral and verbal communication. They can learn how to use PowerPoint, right, so that they can communicate and present to employees. So there's different ways of communicating. They can learn more about email etiquette, right, and how do you send an effective email, like using a good subject line, using proper salutations, and making sure that the message is crisp, clear. And that above all, that it's, it still builds the relationship and it's professional. I can't stress that enough. So understanding more about etiquette and also being very friendly over the phone and making sure that their voicemails are friendly. And then getting feedback from other people, asking, saying, listen, how do you think my verbal communication skills are? How would you rate my interpersonal skills? Take a look at your past performance reviews. See how you were rated in that section. Ask someone to give you feedback on a report that you generate on a monthly basis for management. Right, to say, hey, does this make sense? Does it, is it addressed to the audience? Is it appropriate? Is the content? So getting feedback from other people, looking at sort of your own track record, and then taking training, because you can never stop taking enough training, right? So, whether you do it professionally or not professionally, you can only get better through practice, and practice will lead to proficiency, and proficiency will lead to performance. So if you want to be a great communicator, to kind of know, you have to know where you are right now, and then, what's your goal, and then how do you close that gap with a proper, training plan and training strategy.